want to look back at a past paper question we did very recently on numbers and go back over the answer because really I'm not very happy with the answer we gave. So basically the purpose of this presentation is to look at a common multiples question that was on the past paper questions on numbers. This is the paper in question. It is a foundation paper, but of course everything on this paper can come up on a higher paper. The question is number 4, which says w, x and y are three positive whole numbers. W is 1/5 of y, x is 1/6 of y, and y has to be less than 100. Because it is a positive number, it will not be less than 0. Now the answer I gave previous to this didn't seem to ring true to me. Something was slightly off with it. Why? Well, something was odd about the values we came up for y. We were coming up with values for 1 and 2 for y, which seemed very low given that we could in theory go up to 100. And although we said y was between 0 and 100, the other part of the question that's really important is that the values for x and w and y have to be whole numbers. Now I looked at our answer again, and if we use the value, for example, y equals 2, then for w, y being 2 would give us a value 2 divided by 5. And there's no way on this earth that 2 divided by 5 is a whole number. The same will be true of x. If you put 2 into x equals y over 6, you'll get 2 over 6, which is 1 over 3, which again is not a whole number. So our answer cannot be right. So let's look at this again and see what the question is really asking us to do. Whatever values we get, remember, for y, the numbers for x and w must end up as whole positive numbers, i.e., in order to achieve that, w would have to be something like 5 over 5. Y would take on the value of 5. 5 divided by 5 would give us 1. 1 is definitely a whole number. Or we could have y equals 10. 10 divided by 5 would give us w equals 2. Or y could be 15. Again, 15 divided by 5 would give us 3, and so on. You can see we're going up in steps of 5, multiples of 5. Similarly, if we look at x, x is y divided by 6. So in order to get whole numbers for x, we'd have to have y being multiples of 6. In which case we'd have to have x is, for example, 6 over 6, give us 1, 12 over 6, or 18 over 6, all of those will generate whole numbers. This means we can only choose a number for y which is a common multiple of w and x. In this case we're going to be talking about the numbers 5 and 6. And of course the number we get for y must be between 0 and 100. So let's look at the multiples of 5 and 6 and find the common multiples. For 5, we get all these numbers. Now I'm writing them all out, and I'm not necessarily saying you have to do that in the exam paper, but to make it clear what I'm doing it now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and so on, steps of 5 up to 95. Let's stop at 95 because the next number is going to be 100, and we're not allowed to have a value of 100. Let's do the same thing for 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, etc. Up to 96. We can't go beyond that, so we will stop at 96. Now let's single out the common multiples. So I've ringed those, and you can see the common multiples are 30, 60 and 90. So the answer to our question is the allowable values for y are 30, 60 and 90 only. Now that seems a long-winded way of getting to the answer, but most of that was explanation. If you can see it, you get there a lot more quickly. There really is a quick solution to this, and it's treating this as a least common multiple question in disguise. The least common multiple of 5 and 6 is actually going to be 5 times 6, and 5 times 6 gives you 30. Now if 30 will work, then so will multiples of 30 up to 100. So the answer is going to be 30, 60 and 90. And if we write it out properly, we'd say the answer is the allowable values for y are 30, 60 and 90 only. So that's the whole answer on that sheet just there for 5 marks. QED. The quick way of doing it looks nice and simple, and there's usually a nice elegance about quick simple solutions. If they look simple and elegant, you sort of think they're quite right, whereas the answer I was giving last time looked very awkward, unwieldy, and in the end didn't ring true. We've used all the rules they gave us. W is y over 5, x is y over 6, and of course y has to be less than 100 and greater than 0. Has to be a whole number. We've used all those rules and come up with the right answer.